Alrighty. And welcome, folks, to another episode of Debuffed, the Star Citizen Report.
Yes, welcome. You have Thaman and Memo here with you this evening.
I'd like to go over a number of new things that have popped up since the last show. Some good news coming out of Star Citizen and CIG. I'd like to tell you first about this weekend. If you've been watching, we've been streaming a lot of games from Grievance. Have a lot of folks playing for the charity, which I have now right down here. Playing for Extra Life, which is a charity which benefits Children's Miracle Network hospitals. Currently, a Grievance team is playing for Bastion Children's Hospital of Mississippi. So, it's a lot of members out there streaming their games today, and for a good cause.
Yes, please join in and donate. It is for a fantastic cause. What are we starting out with tonight, Thaman?
All right. Well, to give everyone just kind of a quick ideas of what we got especially since I was last around, I think even since the last show, there was the Aurora commercial came out, and they offered out a new variant, the Legionnaire, the Hornet commercial, and they finally offered some variants. So we're going to take a look at the Aurora commercial and talk about them. I'll look at the Hornet commercial and talk about them. We've also got some new news on some of the stretch goals that have been met and proposed.
It's been an exciting couple weeks for stretch goals here. We've been hitting about 1 million a week or so, maybe a little more. It's kind of slowed down right now since some of their specials are over, but a lot of exciting news for you.
We'll also have a little news later on a few other things. One involving how Star Citizen seems to be getting its fan base involved in writing some of the lore of the game. And we have a fan-originated idea for beta that seems to be picking up a lot of news over on their forums.
Very exciting.
I think we're going to talking about the one of the first things we'll be presenting is the Aurora commercial. And I haven't talked about the Origin one, but that one's been out for a while. I think a lot of people have seen that one.
Yeah, we got into the Aurora a little bit last time and showed the commercial, but they really fleshed out the different variants of this ship since our last show. It's going to be your entry-level ship, but you can customize it to do anything, for combat, for travel, for, even mining, stealth, exploration, tourism, also shipping. I mean, it's basically your, jack of all trades, and it's the entry-level ship you'll get to use.
All right, and Aurora does sound like something a lot of people get. I think I'll go into the commercial, and then we'll go over some of the specific models that have come out and some of the options that are out there. And you also notice, if you've seen the original one, maybe you've seen these commercials, as we go through each one, it certainly does look like different companies are making different commercials aimed at their fan base.
Pretty much like, Chevrolet, Buick, Ford. It's laid out just like a car commercial. It's a very interesting way that shows some of the humor and some of the, the fun that they're putting into the game.
All right. So I'm going to take a look at the Aurora one here.
So I was looking at the new Aurora, but then I was thinking, maybe I should get something that looks a little classy. But then I was like, no, I need something that can pull some serious weight. Maybe I don't need all that cargo space. What about the Legionnaire? Now we're talking. How about some bigger guns? Little bigger. No, little bigger. There you go. And maybe some rockets too. Actually, I should probably upgrade the power plant. I did like the leather seats on that LX, though. Yeah, perfect. All right, let's see what this baby can do.
are many like it, but this one is yours.
Yeah, but you can you can do anything with it. Exploration, you can fight, you can arm it with missiles, lasers, you can do merchant, you can do militia patrols, exploration. Tourism is one of the things they have listed for it. It's the do-all ship. It's the ship that I got when I first became interested in the game. That was my first pledge package.
Sorry, fix that.
The Aurora. Was the Aurora. And then the bad part that I've seen with Star Citizen as far as the ships is once you get your foot in the door, you can melt that ship down, and then you have store credit to look at the next ship down the line. And it's just been a steady progression from the Aurora on up to where I'm at this point. How about you on that, Thaman?
All right. Yeah, I was going to go over here. I got a little distracted because I did realize I was still muted, so people weren't hearing me. Yeah, in the different variants they came out with, like I'm surprised the first one and kind of cheapest was the Essential, which they said was for exploration. And I was kind of surprised. I know there are people in the game that thought they might automatically start out with an Aurora, and that may not be the case. I haven't heard anything. But definitely a lot of these other Auroras have more stuff put on them, and they're supposed to be very modifiable.
Yeah, as you can see from the commercial, they're almost modular in what you can do, as far as weapons packages, transport packages, anything. I'm not sure if it's going to be the entry level ship you're going to get as it comes in. It would seem that would make sense, but I don't think we have that info now. But it is pretty much the entry level package if you pledge to the game.
Yeah, and I do know there's a few of the variants are the Marquis. Originally, that one was marked as Interdiction and Carrion Combat. Now, more recently, they came out with the Legionnaire, which definitely seems like even more capable, a tougher fighter version. But they've got others. The Clipper with huge storage for mercantile and an LX luxury style one. But a lot of these different variants do give a great idea of the variety that you can put into one ship to make it fill different roles.
Absolutely. And it seems like, if you have the loadouts for these ships, you can just switch while in game to what you're doing. Because I know with the release of the next ship we're going to talk about, they have various where you can use these as upgrade packages towards your ship. So you could start out with, say, the ES and get an upgrade package to upgrade you all the way up to the LX or one of the other models.
Okay. I'm going to answer one question. Yes, Gas, is this game to have something like clans, guilds? We do know that there are going to be, they're calling them organizations. I'd like to call it a fleet, but they're organizations, and they do seem to have where you can make them for different focuses. You seem to have different tools by which you can organize how it's going to be organized. And it looks like Star Citizen's going to put several tools in the game as well to it almost seems like its own forums in the game and other stuff like that for organizations to access. It's something we've still been talking about. They gave a glimpse of it at their I don't know what to call it, their birthday show that they have on
the anniversary on the 10th of this last month.
Mm-hmm. So they go into it a little bit there. That's where I'm getting all my information from on that.
Yeah, a lot of the information that we get isn't isn't exactly firsthand, but we read this stuff so much we can get kind of a, I don't know, not a feeling so much, but a grasp for the way the wind is blowing.
Yeah, and they do sound like they're definitely keeping their ears open to their fan base. That's been a big part of their business model.
Yeah, which is essential for any successful game is, feedback. When people want this, they make it a stretch goal. When people want that, they address it. And when there were problems with the hangar first coming out, and people are like, the way this ship is laid out, it doesn't make any sense. There were redesigns that came in over that. So, responding to the player base has definitely been something they're doing, and that is always exciting to see with the game.
I have definitely seen. Yeah, Loomvox, go ahead, type them in. I've definitely seen a big change too in what the hangar started and what some of the bugs that were there. And there's more functionality been included. I got a fish tank in my hangar. I got a wardrobe changer, even though there's only one other change of wardrobe. So it's pretty nice.
That's something that we don't have that much info about, but I know. Do you remember that software that I linked you, Thaman, to where you could have people controlling different systems?
Yeah, I'm looking at Lumavox's question. Uh, for our eventual YouTube crowd, he's asking like on a big capital ship, there's different systems to manage. Will they have different behaviors and related issues depending on what part of the ship they are manifesting or running on? Will there be specific NPC player responsible to manage that systems on each area of the ship? Yeah, we do know that for big ships, they are going to break it down a bit. Where different people can do different things on that ship. In fact, it's actually going to be discussed in a little more detail with one of their stretch goals that's coming up. But it does sound like your friends could hop into these NPC roles on your ship and give a hand running different systems as well as do a few other things. I'm going to actually cover that a little more in just a bit later here. Right now, the only gameplay that does exist is on the hangars. There is going to be an alpha dogfighting module coming out around the end of the year here, with a planet-side module scheduled for in the spring. So we should be able to actually see some of that. The other commercial, which actually I'll be getting to right about next here, is on the Hornet, and that commercial was shot in game with the in-game graphics. And even with what I'm going to end up showing you on here, suppose if you get out there, you have a really nice resolution monitor, it probably even look a lot better than what we'll be streaming here. It was made for 4K resolution monitors.
Wow, that would be awesome to have one of those. I don't know if we even have anyone in guild that possesses that kind of tech right now. Now that I say that, I'll get all kinds of PMs saying, I've got one.
Okay. Before I go in the commercial, I'll answer this other question here. Van Corsa says, do you know if the PlanetSide module will have combat, or is it more like shopping and exploration?
That was one of the stretch goals, correct?
All right. One of the stretch goals that also came up, which they've already met, it talked about various first-person shooters on certain planets. So we know that the technology is being made. How soon it will be available on the PlanetSide module could be a good question. But we know that they are making it.
Yeah, in the release they stated that there would be first person, combat on the planets, and it would be selected planets. Wasn't going to be there would be safe zones. It wouldn't be like a, open Wild West kind of deal. You would go to here or to there for first person combat, and maybe a mix of lawful systems and unlawful systems. So I mean, it's exciting news that they're going to add a whole first person shooter kind of aspect to the game.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of people looking for that. They certainly have developed part of it because, like they said, also they hope that you can. They're going to make it hard, but you can board a ship and actually have a firefight on somebody else's ship. It's not an easy thing to accomplish, but it can be done. So
I can imagine. I mean, That does sound very exciting. Be able to board someone's ship and be able to repel boarders and save your ship from being seized by pirates. It just kind of goes into the whole exciting things about this game. Like, I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want. You can be whatever you want. I mean, that's something a lot of us, especially older gamers, have been looking for. An open experience, do what you want kind of environment. That's been lacking in games lately.
Yeah. And the fact that they're not really locking your character into certain roles. If you want a little bit of salvaging, a little bit of maybe trying to overclock somebody's computers and that, you can do it. You can give it a shot. I think you'd like to go into the Hornet commercial?
On the monthly charge, Bear, as far as we've heard on that, it's going to be a buy-to-play game. It's not going to be a subscription. That is the last thing I've heard. Damon, have you heard anything different than that?
As far as I know, that is the case. You buy it, you own it, no subscription. They have definitely shown that even with they're already, so does, I'll call it a cash store. It's not really a cash store, but with their already online store and the pledges they can pull in, I think they realize too they don't need to attach a subscription to this.
Yeah, I mean, there will be an entrance price into the game with purchase of the game, but even the smallest Aurora package comes with alpha and beta access for the game, which you're looking at what, $45, I think, and then that's alpha, beta, and the game. And before we get into the Hornet commercial, the question from Bear reminded me. Bear, a longtime Grievance Guild member, just told me this week that for his birthday, which is coming up, his wife has gotten him a constellation. So we wish
Nice.
Bear a happy birthday, and you've got an awesome wife, buddy. Roll with the commercial.
Alrighty, I'll get that queued up here. So as I go into this commercial, they showed a version of it at the end of their first anniversary bash, which again partly got blocked by YouTube the first time around. But when I saw them put it out again more recently, it's got upgraded sound effects, it's got added footage. It's awesome. So we'll plug that in.
This commercial was bad for my credit card.
Yes. And again, keep in mind this was in-game footage here.
Legendary fighter pilot Aria Riley once said, "Give me a fully loaded Hornet, and I'll shake the gates of heaven." Anvil Aerospace's Hornets have faced Vandal, Shion, pirates, and criminals. Anvil Aerospace's Hornets have logged more combat time and kills in more theaters than any other ship in the history of space combat. Battle-tested in the harshest conditions, the Hornet has proven time and again its ability to withstand damage and still be able to dish it out. With all the punishment it handles on a daily basis, Don't you think the new Hornet can handle yours?
Honey, I got the ice cream you wanted.
Anvil's new Hornet F7C. See your authorized ship dealer for options.
All right. And I tell you, some folks might point out that something's unrealistic, but I'll tell you as a married person, yes, you would go through all that to get your wife some ice cream, if you know what's good for you.
Yeah, that little video did not do well for me. They had the special on for the Super Hornet with some variations, the Ghost and the Tracker, and that was last weekend was not a good weekend for the old credit card. I now not only have a Constellation, I also have the Super Hornet variation with one of the little add-on packages that also makes it a Stealth Hornet.
Yeah.
So that was bad. Bad memo.
That's one thing about these games. Folks are putting pledges out, and I tell you, a lot of people, this is going to be the most expensive video game they've ever bought with all the pledges they put into it.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I've seen that happen before. The games that don't have a subscription, you end up spending more than you would if there was a script. Anyways, I kind of like to have all the bells and whistles. But that might just be me. I mean, you can get all of this stuff in game. It's nothing that you can't achieve through the game, but it is pretty awesome to be able to go into your hangar and check these ships out. And Monday they have announced the Super Hornet will be available in the Hornet and the Hornet variations will be available in the hangar module.
Oh, that sounds good. That was one of the things that was questioned after people were upgrading the Hornets. A lot of them didn't know that currently the hangar didn't support upgrades. If you bought some as a package, you could see it, but upgrades you couldn't. So definitely there were people that were kind of flooding RSI with those questions.
And I mean that the hangar module itself, I think it's already at is it 10 or 15 gigabytes just for the hangar module. It's not a light program. And it's very impressive to go in and be able to, and you can't fly or shoot anything, but you can go in and you can flip the switches, you can get in the gun turrets and make them spin around, you can sit in the pilot seats. And my Hornet, since I got it as a package this last weekend, it displayed correctly. But all that's supposed to be worked out by this Monday. They announced that this weekend there'll be a hangar module update.
That sounds good. Now we're gonna, before I get into kind of the rest of this list of the Hornet, I see a couple things in the questionnaire thing. Core Wolf says I shouldn't be watching this. Yes, you got until November 26th where original backers and that can get LTI insurance, which is a nice extra on ships. And it doesn't, if you're buying an Aurora or pledging for an Origin package, you're not really spending any more than what a game might be at retail. Yeah. And you get into some nice stuff here.
Yeah, and the LTI is limited is lifetime insurance on your ship. So if you go in and get it destroyed, poof, you got a brand new one, no cost to you. Without the lifetime insurance, you can buy insurance or pay for insurance in game, which will be a minimal fee, but it's kind of a nice perk to get now. They don't have, if you were to buy now, you don't get lifetime insurance, but veteran backers like myself and Thaman get lifetime insurance, and there is a workaround for that, which I've helped several guild members with so far. You buy a package, you melt it down, or you buy a package and you gift it. The person you gift it to melts it down, buys one with lifetime insurance, and gifts it back. And presto, you now have lifetime insurance on your ship. So, I mean, it's kind of a workaround for the lifetime insurance. And as veteran backers, we have that up till the 26th of November.
All right. I'm going to go back into a few things with the Hornet. Sailor 67, it's good to see in our chat. Your part's coming up here too. So the Hornet commercial, the different variants. These were Kind of new. All of them still kind of a combat capability, but we see new things. There's the Hornet Ghost, which is for stealth fighting. They've said you can make your ship in ways where it's going to be harder to get a radar lock on you for missiles, harder to spot you on long range radar, so the Hornet Ghost seems ready for that.
The actual description on the Ghost is fascinating. It's an upgrade I got to the Super Hornet. You can actually add that package and the tracker onto a Super Hornet. And this is what got me. It's capable of slipping past the most ardent of observers to accomplish whatever goal you need to accomplish. Don't worry, we won't ask. I mean, that right there grabbed me.
And I did think it was funny too, to give you an idea, even though the tracker's got radar and command and control for smaller squads, interesting. They've said like you could buy a Super Hornet and you could put the paint job on it that the Ghost version has to try to cut down on your radar signature. Now it may not be too effective because the Super Hornet's already got a huge power plant, all this stuff working against it. But it was interesting to note that little bit of mix and matching that you can accomplish.
Yeah, that I thought was really neat. It won't be as effective as if you just had a Ghost, but you will get some of the benefits of the Ghost with the massive firepower of a Super Hornet. Which, if you've looked at any of these, the ship models, the Hornet has a giant ball turret with gigantic guns right in the middle. I mean, how can you resist that? That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got a screenshot that somebody posted over on the RSI forums because they were arguing how many guns the Hornet had on it. And this single screenshot showed all 8 guns firing at that Origin craft. So that thing was as armed as it could get.
We have a question from Sailor. What might we want to check, Sailor? All right.
Let's see.
They'll get back to us.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start talking about actually some of these stretch goals that have popped up
The
since our
stretch
last
goals.
show.
I mean, we are what, like 3 bars away from 26 million?
Mm.
Yeah, the
Oh,
upgrades
mentioned
only
that.
apply to one ship. Yes, that is very true. If what I said was misleading, they do only apply to one ship. So if you get this ship, you can't use the upgrade on multiple ships. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I wonder if you have the upgrade, if you technically have the parts, but I don't know how that would work between like a Super Hornet as a 2-seater.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. It says that it applies to I read the thing when I got it for my Super Hornet, and it says that it applies to Super Hornet, but it will not be as effective as if it were just a Ghost model because, like you said, of the larger power plant, the weapon outload and stuff like that on it. So I mean, it's not an upgrade for everything, and it is less effective than a Ghost. But I mean, I don't know. Like I read the little last line to you, that kind of grabbed me there.
Yeah, I should mention too that Super Hornet, being it is a 2-seater, I forgot to mention it earlier. That one I seriously wondered about. It's like limit myself to buying a 2-seater ship. They outright said in their frequently asked questions, one person can fly that 2-seater Hornet.
Yeah.
The second seat, you can either have somebody assisting with some of the weapons packages, radar package, or you could have a prisoner back there if you're a bounty hunter.
Prisoner transport. Yeah, that's awesome.
No.
Yeah. That, like I said, that video that came out, that was very bad for me. Because of the first variation of the Hornet, it just didn't do anything for me. But watching the Super Hornet in action, that was really cool. Now our stretch goals, we're coming up on 26. What's our 26 million stretch goal, not 1,000.
Okay, at 26 million, we are going to have capital ship functions, which ties into the question we were answering earlier. Excuse me 1 second. So it does sound like you're going to have increased capital ship functions as far as like fire teams to handle damage or even teams to repel boarders, which we said could be done. So it sounds like they're really going to add on to the functionality of what you can do on these capital ships with this next stretch goal. And I have no doubt they'll get to the 26 million. Pardon me there. We also had passed the goals for 24 and 25 million since the last show. Let me go back to see Sailor 67. Can you purchase more than one upgrade pack and storage the extra parts? No. Okay, only one upgrade pack for ship. Okay. That was one thing I kind of wondered. Okay. Yeah, thanks for clarifying with the link there. And Corwolf, is there a known difference between the Hornet Ghost and the Spectre? They have matching descriptions. A Hornet Spectre?
Yeah, the Spectre. Where is the Spectre?
I guess I didn't know the Spectre.
That might be the same thing. Especially if they have matching descriptions. They might be calling it in another place. They might be calling it the Spectre instead of the Ghost. That would be my best guess on that.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. They did also upgrade the ship stats page. What do I want to say? The ship specifications page recently. Although some folks have said that's already a week old, so it's already out of date. But there is some new info there. Oh, and it kind of showed in the slideshow there. Somebody else on the RSI forums pointed out that the odds of navigating that asteroid field as seen on the Hornet's dashboard was...
Yeah, the Easter egg from Star Wars.
They quoted...
C-3PO said to Han Solo, and he said, "Don't ever quote statistics. Was statistics numbers?
Don't ever tell me the odds.
Don't ever tell me the odds."
Alright. So yeah, going back to these $24-25 million stretch goals. And pledge for the... Oh, maybe it's a package. That could be it.
It could be a packet. Let me look at that. I can look at it real quick.
I'll go over these goals while he
that is the package that comes with the Ghost, is what that... Well, no, there's a Ghost. Some of them are packages, and some of them are...
Right, like you can buy the 325A Origin Fighter, or you can buy the Bounty Hunter package, which includes that fighter plus other things like Alpha, Beta, extra UEC credits and such. But I'm kind of assuming because I'm not looking at the page.
I mean, they're showing the same pick and everything for them. It's just the Spectre is the exact same description, everything, but it's a different price.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So it does lead to a good question of even like question your guildies when you check that stuff up, because some of those packages are just the ship.
Yeah, the Spectre is actually the Ghost. The Spectre is the Ghost with the game and package, is what that is. It comes with the Hornet Ghost and the hangar and your Alpha and Beta access. That's a package. And where they have it listed as just the Ghost, that is just the ship by itself. So that is the difference between those two. One's a package with the game, and the other is just a ship by itself.
Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and kind of just go into these stretch goals here before we get too much farther. So 24 and 25 million. One thing that we saw come into that was mass transports. That was one really nice thing as far as getting yourself across the solar system without risking a ship, or if you left a ship on the other side of the solar system. Although it sounds like as part of that mass transit too, you can order your ship moved from one hangar to some other hangar on some other planet. So that's
have space FedEx, either for yourself or for your goods. You can have your ship moved from planet to planet. I think you start off with your hangar on whatever your base planet is, but you can always change that.
Yeah.
We
And
have
I'm gonna say
we have
too.
a question from Lunavox. Insurance question: if a corp employee sells a corp ship and keeps for him the UIC, the insurance of that ship will pay a new one for the corp. That employee has to be responsible and pay it. And if he doesn't have the money, was the insurance company responsible to recompensate the corp owner? I have no idea.
Um,
Oh, that is a good question.
I'm not sure some of these too. They have said that if they feel a player is trying to somehow
Game the
cheat the
system.
system with insurance, there are going to be some insurance safeguards in place, and I bet that will be constantly changing because I can imagine players trying to get around it.
If
Um,
there's a way, someone will figure out how to do it. That's the nature of games, as any of us who've been playing for a while have seen over and over. So,
we do know that a few things like insurance should only go with the hull of a ship. So if you do acquire a ship illegally, that hull won't be good for insurance if you do lose it. And so there are little ways as far as trying to track those things.
that's another interesting thing about the lifetime insurance. If you buy a fully upgraded ship with lifetime insurance, then every little piece of that's covered. But say you bought a base model Aurora with lifetime insurance, and then you added all these add-on packages, gun packages, transport packages to it later. Those are not covered, which is also an interesting point for getting it under lifetime insurance. But as they've said, insurance is going to be a minimal charge in the game anyways. It's just something you'll have to keep up with.
And they've said too that whatever fees are in game will only apply while you're playing, not if you set the game down and come back months later. You don't have to worry
Yeah,
about that.
and Del Corin said that Eve only covers the ship itself. It's going to be like that with this game unless you bought the ship fully loaded. If you purchase the ship fully loaded, like the Super Hornet, you're not going to just get back the base model Hornet. You're going to get back the Super Hornet. But if you bought a base model Hornet and add an upgrade package on it later down the line to make it a Super Hornet, you're going to get back the base model Hornet. Yeah, you can also insure the add-ons. Very, very good point as well.
Yeah. It did say LTI is just going to make that easier to adapt. It's still supposed to be kind of a minor mechanic, though, if you don't have it.
Yeah, minor deal. No worries there, Delcorin.
Right.
That's something that having the lifetime insurance and being a veteran backer, I have read exhaustively on it.
I'm going to jump into the next section. We have a couple main things still to go over. I'll touch on this one briefly. They've been announcing, too, as far as ways for the fans to get involved in writing the lore of the game. It started out with racing lore, the Murray Cup. They gave fans a chance to write them and tell them about some of the previous winners. And so a lot of folks were coming up with some interesting story submissions. I submitted one, though it wasn't one of the ones that they shared. And it sounds like they're going to do the same thing with this sport, Saddleball, which they gave a brief description and asked folks to fill in the blanks.
It ended up coming up across between European and American football. So hands and feet both are going to be in use. It's going to be a football kind of soccer combination type of game. But the Racing Cup has already taken on a life of its own, to where they've fleshed out the racing stars, the bad, your good drivers, your underdogs, and how there's been a big cheating scandal and it was almost destroyed. I mean, it's this whole thing, just from them mentioning it, has taken on a life of its own just through player submissions. It's really kind of fascinating to follow.
Right. So I thought that definitely was kind of a great thing to get the fans involved. Take care of my throat one more moment here.
No, purchasing any new weapons would not affect your lifetime insurance on your ship. Just you have the hull lifetime insured, and then later on down the line, you add weapons to it. You would get your ship back, but whatever weapons that you've added to it after your purchase price, you wouldn't. Those wouldn't come back. You just get whatever base ship you purchased. Say I purchased the Super Hornet. Instead of getting the regular Hornet back, I would get the Super Hornet back. But say I purchased the regular Hornet, and then later on down the line I had a Hornet Ghost package to it. I wouldn't get the Hornet Ghost package back to it. I would just get the regular Hornet. Or say I added a different weapon loadout on it, and I did not have that insured, I would not get that back. It's not that you would lose your lifetime insurance. Period.
All right. Throat got
Okay.
dry. Haven't been in the best of health this week.
Sorry to hear that, Damon.
So
It's that season.
with our time coming up, I do want to get into the last major announcement I had before Memo has something for you. So, and partly, I got in touch, and say Sailor 67, he put something out that made the most valuable post recently. A fan-based idea on beta. Operation Pitchfork. And this amazes me. I mean, we're still in pre-alpha, and he put this idea out, and it's really
This is
taken a
epic.
life on its own. An end of beta thing where we are going to invade Vanduul space. And Vanduul are the bad guys here.
Yeah.
He
Thanks
put
for
this-
joining us this evening also, Sailor.
Thought this was a great idea. It's caught a lot of attention. It's got its own website devoted to it. He did say, the separate guilds can as far as work their own functionality within their ranks, but over the greater course of things, at the end of beta, we're going to go after those Vanduul for the crimes they've committed, and probably die horribly. He was actually saying, before the end of beta wipe, and somebody was saying that there wouldn't be an end of beta wipe. Now, I don't know whether to take that as, gospel, so to speak, or not. But then it was kind of like, well, we'll all die, but let's all go do it anyway. And I love that attitude. I've got to try that. This got very organized. It's picked up steam. Last I talked to Sailor 67, he said there were 1,100 pilots signed up for it. You can let me know if you got an update to that number.
Yeah, this is an epic idea that, like you said, has taken a life of its own, and such a great idea to all go and invade, Vanduul space at the end of beta. Take every ship we can take in there and just see how far we can get with it. And that just that appeals to me, and I think that'll appeal to a lot of other grievance members as well.
I see he updated the numbers, so now it's up to 1,500. And I can imagine, this is be a big event. They've sounded like that we'll be really outnumbered by the NPCs, the enemies. But
What is it? Don't ever tell me odds.
Yeah, don't ever tell me the odds. It's like, when I've talked to guildmates about this, they've all been of the opinion that, yes, it's definitely worth the loss of a ship to go along for this ride. But I tell you, Sailor 67, great idea that fired up the community. Almost unheard of for a pre-alpha idea to suddenly get so much overwhelming support and so many folks looking forward to doing this at the end of beta and participating.
Absolutely. I don't know if Lumavox is saying that they're not going to do a wipe after initial beta release, which, I mean, as far as I know, it could go either way, but I'm waiting for more information to come out on that. For me personally, I'd like to see wipes after betas, but I know it does have its drawbacks and benefits as well. Okay, there's a CR was quoted as saying no.
Yeah. They've heard it. My only thoughts to the player base is still don't be surprised if there's some kind of wipe, but it would be wonderful if we even get a head start. I don't know how that will work with Squadron 42, but
I think that's I think I have heard that from other sources as well, Sailor. I always like to believe that there's going to be a wipe because I want to be able to do as much damage to my stuff as I can in beta and know it's going to be okay when the game launches. Because that's kind of like how I like to go into a beta. We pretty well need to start wrapping it up here, don't we, Thaman? We do have a
Yep.
giveaway. But before that, if there's people that are watching this that are not already involved in grievance members, it doesn't matter what you're doing, what you're playing. If you're going to go into Star Citizen, we have a while. I mean, we have some, modules releasing in the future. But, we got a while till this game comes out. If you'd like to get to know a fantastic group of people, we are a multi-gaming guild. We are playing all kinds of games. If it's playable and multiple people can play it, we are playing it. So please come check us out. Can someone throw the link up for us there in chat? Come check us out. Play with the people you'll be playing Star Citizen with. Make a good group of friends.
Also got up there, grievancegaming.org.
All right. Thank you, Shin. We have a fantastic giveaway tonight. It is let's see, what happened? Can you post a link for that, Steel?
So everyone get ready to
I
type
got it.
fast to be able to get an
All right.
answer in.
This is what we'll be giving away. It's a Valve pack of Valve games worth. I think it comes up to a little over $100 worth of Valve games. We have a question. First person to get it in TeamSpeak gets the package. And Thaman has the question.
TeamSpeak, or they type it in here?
Oh, sorry. I mean chat in Twitch. I said TeamSpeak. I apologize.
Yep. So get your typing fingers ready, and on Twitch, the first person.
Yeah, sorry about that. I always think TeamSpeak.
So the first person to answer, to type it into the chat box so we can see who answers first, that one wins. All right. In the original Wing Commander game, there were 4 possible fighters that a player could fly. Name any one of them. So, in the original Wing Commander game, 4 ships that you could fly. Name any one of them.
X-Wing. Falcon. Star Citizen, not Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic movies, by the way.
If you don't throw, you can just throw more guesses out,
Yeah,
you
throw
won't
more
know if
guesses.
you're guessing. Well, that was one of the enemy ships, but you couldn't fly it. The Drothy.
No, come on, folks. This isn't that bad. We might have actually mentioned one of them during the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say I do got a hint. Well,
Yeah,
Tiger's
that
Claw.
was a pretty
there
good
we
hint.
go. Rapier.
Well, we
Dosisek?
had one right before that, didn't we?
Where was it? But the
Delcorin.
original was not. The Tiger's Claw was the aircraft
No,
carrier.
right above Doc.
But Stiletto wasn't one of the originals, and
In between Doc and Stiletto. In between Iron Bear and Doc. Delcorin.
Okay, because mine shows where Dosek said Rapier, which is one of them, and then it showed Delcorin Hornet.
No, he's above on mine. He's below on yours?
Yeah.
He is above on mine. How are we handling this giveaway, Steel? How do we get the package to the person? Do we need the email? Yeah. See, we're having a... Yeah, I see Delcorin first.
Okay.
Well, Dosek is a personal friend of mine, and he needs $100 worth of Valve games like he needs a hole in the head. You want a half a
Steel is
dozen
kind of
Valve
our
games?
judge on this, so yeah, I'll go with that.
Ah.
All right. Okay, so if Delcrin's passing, that would be Dosek.
Yeah, let's
The
go with
the
let's go with
four
Delcarin.
Yeah, the four possibilities were a hornet, a scimitar, a raptor, and a rapier. Those were the four ships.
Yeah, it's first on my screen as well. We're gonna go with that.
All right, I'll let Steelheart decide though, because I know he's trying to pass. So I'll let Steelheart
Uh,
decide on that.
Steele already said it was first on his screen. He's grievance.
And so while they're working out, just say though too for folks, because that might see us later on YouTube. So this was our November 2nd cast. We'll have another one 2 weeks, November 16th.
What do we need Steele to give this away? Do we need an email?
Alrighty. Yeah, find what you need to make sure you get the prize to them. If you want to pop an email up or anything like that.
Email.
Again, for our YouTube folks, that'll be watching this rerun. Like I say, next show's November 16th. I'm assuming it will be back at our regular time, 6 p.m. We'll definitely be updating it on websites and on our other advertisements before we get to that point.
Can we get an email for Delcarin? That's how we'll distribute the wealth.
And thanks again for all watching. Especially thanks to our team that's doing
Yes,
Extra Life
absolutely.
today. And we're glad they're coming through to make this possible for some kids. Because I tell you, I saw one video from Children's Miracle Networks about one sad story about one kid. And yes, I wanted to hand them my money also.
Very worthwhile cause.
Okay.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody attending this evening. We had another fantastic Star Citizen cast.
Honorable mention to Corwolf, who died in Rift while trying to probably look up that question to
Yes.
answer.
A for effort, brother.
All right. Y'all get your private messages out of the way. Again, thanks for joining us. Any questions or anything else about that, like I say, you can go to grievancegaming.org. It's right up there. And contact, Steelheart, especially if it's about that question right there. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you.